I'm Michael Chipman, Lagree Senior Master Trainer, and welcome to the Do You Lagree podcast. Each episode, you'll meet the people behind the Lagree Method, the studio owners, trainers, founders, and experts who share how they discovered Lagree and the moment they knew they wanted to bring it to their communities. We'll talk about the rewards and challenges of building a business and community around this powerful fitness method and the lessons learned along the way. Now, let's get to today's episode. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Do You Lagree podcast, episode 6. I'm Michael Chipman, happy to be here, and I'm very happy to welcome my guests this week. It's Sébastien Barreaud and Alexia Babarit, the owners of My Time Coaching, and also my neighbors here in Nice, France. Welcome, Sébastien and Alexia.
Hello.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, so good to see you guys. We're not actually, usually I'm a continent or a country away from the people that I'm interviewing. You happen to be just down the street. I wish I were here in Nice more often. I could see you more often here. But two of my favorite studio owners that I've met and become friends with, and I admire them so much for what they've done here and what they're building in Nice, in the south of France. And I'm excited to have them here and hear the story. One thing I like to do with these interviews is start with your story of how you discovered Lagree, what your journey was in discovering the Lagree method, and then what made you want to eventually open a studio. So maybe we'll start with Alexia.
So I discovered the Lagree method in Paris. I think it was 2019. First, it was at Snake and Twist. And honestly, it was very hard, the first class, but I fall in love with the method at the first class. So it was very intense and I like it at first. And I think it's the same for you.
Yeah, same. I remember that we didn't know exactly what was Lagree, but we were looking for a studio open on Sunday evening in Paris. And so we saw that. So we say, okay, well, let's go. We try in Snake and Twist Lagree. And I remember that's always what I said to the people. The first time, after 1 or 2 minutes, I said in my head, fuck, what is that? I never feel my abs so strong, and it was burning me just after 2 minutes. So I was really impressed of that.
So you were just visiting Paris, or were you living in Paris at the time?
No, back at the time we were living in Paris, and we moved in Nice just a few years ago. But we used to live in Paris, and we discovered Lagree there. And after that...
When you discovered it, Alexia, you said that it was the intensity that attracted you to the workout, to the method. What had you done previously? What sports or what kind of things had you done previously that made you kind of recognize the intensity of the Lagree method when you discovered it?
I used to do a lot of gym. So I was working out with a private coach, and I was at the gym almost every day, and was doing weightlifting and also a lot of concept like boxing boot camp, like Barry's boot camp, and so on, and a lot of cycling too. And
so this became part of your workout routine, along with all of those other things.
Yes. I have one day for one activity or two sometimes, but usually in the morning I was doing the weightlifting, and at the end of the day, cycling or yoga or boot camp, or it depends.
And with Lagree, because Lagree is very different from all of those things, you found that Lagree was complementary to the other work that you were doing in the gym, and that brought something different to your fitness regime?
Yes, I was very surprised about the intensity of the workout, of the Lagree workout. And it was also, it was very intense on the muscle, but it was also very challenging on the mind. Because you want to stay a little bit longer, class after class, and you want to push yourself a little bit further. So that's what I liked.
Yeah, everyone talks to me about that when I do certifications. the number one thing people talk about is how much mental strength Lagree requires and how much mental strength Lagree gives them as a result of practicing and staying in those exercises longer than you think you can.
Yes, and first I thought my body was going to break or something like that.
You know, I mean, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to stay at one part of the machine and my body is going to move in another part, but it's not going to work.
I think that's a very common experience for people starting out. Yeah, it feels so intense. You almost can't believe that your body can sustain that kind of intensity over a long period of time, but then you just get better at it.
And class after class, time after time, you can see the difference on your body. You can see you're more efficient. You're more endurant, and you build a different kind of muscle. So that's what I like. And also, I love the vibe of the teacher because it was a girl from New York, and she had this American vibe, and I like it.
Yeah. Well, there is a vibe to Lagree, actually. And I think Sébastien Lagree, the founder, I think he kind of created this vibe, at least in his studios in Los Angeles, of kind of a nightclub. It's like his studios are kind of dark with blue lights and loud music. And it has kind of that nightclub vibe. So there's something very unique to it. I think it probably is more akin to like a Barry's boot camp situation than like a yoga class or and I think Snake and Twist, she had she had that kind of vibe in her studios as well. She kind of brought. I mean, each studio has their own vibe, but I think that's part of Lagree. Like you have the neon lights behind you there, and the music that gives energy. So, yeah.
But this is for me, this is very important because it's part of the experience. It's not only the workout, it's the vibe you can create around the workout because it's a whole. So I think
it's all part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sébastien, for you as well, so you discovered Lagree at the same time as Alexia?
Yeah, it was at the same time. So at first I'm doing more marathon. So at first and triathlon also. So most of the time it was my sport. So doing some powerlifting also. So, but we love to go in and to try new method. You know, with Alexia, that's something that we love to do. Going to other studio every time when we travel or when we were living in Paris, we are always looking for a new experience. So that was in that way that I was going to test the Lagree method. And as I told you, I was definitely impressed. Even if I can tell, and I remember I said to Alexia, we work most of the time the legs. And, you know, I was running 5-6 times per week. So I was completely dead. And I said to Alexia, but we never work more the upper body. So at first I was a little frustrated. But now, practicing more and more, that's what I prefer to work. So that's funny to say that at first. I prefer to work abs and upper body, and now I'm really loving working my lower body.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good on the Lagree machine, but there's just nothing else that works the lower body and the abs like Lagree. It's incredible. Yes. The gainage, as we say in French. Yeah. And the hamstrings, glute work is so good. I wonder, so Alexia, you had done more boxing and more like hit circuit training, and Seb, you had done more marathon triathlon training. Those are two very different approaches, and I'm wondering how Lagree influenced both of them. So on the endurance side for Sébastien and for the explosivity and the kind of muscular strength and force side with the hit training and boxing.
So for me, I was already crazy about the abs workout. So it was so much better than everything I can do before. And it was really helping me for the other practice. I mean, finding the strength in my core, in my abs, but in my core, was really helping me on everything, actually. Because for me, like we call it in Pilates, the powerhouse, and it's the same Lagree. The strength is coming from here, and you feel stronger in the other practice when you work out on those apps.
Yeah, I agree. I found the same thing. I do a lot of upper body, more like weightlifting in the gym as well as doing Lagree. And I feel like the core strength that I gain in Lagree gives me so much more power for doing weightlifting or other kinds of more explosive movements as well.
Also, it allows me to have more awareness in my entire body when I was at the gym, but also in a cycling class or on a boxing class. I was really more aware of what I can do and how I can do it using my strength and my core.
Yeah. And Sébastien, for the endurance sports? Same thing?
I think there is two parts. First, for the injury, as Lagree is no impact. And we know that running, marathon, and so on, it's had a lot of impacts on all the body. So for me, it was really a good part to really have less injury with that. And the other thing is that I'm sure, and that's always what I tell for the men people to come here, it's definitely a game changer when you do some endurance sports. So I mean marathon, triathlon, and right now even if for Hyrox, that's the same thing. And so I'm definitely feeling stronger with the Lagree for the lower body, but also, when you start to become a little tired, you lose the gainage, as you say. So with the Lagree, you feel definitely stronger, and you keep the alignment on each sport. So definitely for me, it was both a game changer. And that's why I still practice Lagree, because I'm a true believer and lover of the method and all the benefit that it can bring to our life, but also when we practice other sports.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about Hyrox. We'll get to that in just a minute, because you have half of your studio is Lagree. You have 8 mini pro machines on one side, and the other side is a Hyrox training center, basically. And I'm excited to talk to you about that. But before we get to that, I wanted to hear about what made you first decide to become certified as Lagree instructors. And that was when you were still in Paris, right? Because I remember, Alexia, you were teaching at Snake and Twist for a while, yeah?
Yes, I did the certification, the level 1, actually when we moved in Nice, but I was doing back and forth between Nice and Paris because there isn't any Lagree studio in Nice, and I wanted to have that experience. So that's why I was doing during 2 years back and forth between Nice and Paris.
That's right. You were traveling back and forth.
Yes, sorry.
She was at.
I was traveling, yes, between those two cities, and it was for my personal and professional experience, I think, the better thing I did.
Well, and it gave you a sense of what the situation was in Nice before moving here and opening the studio, right? Because you did you open the studio after you were certified then?
Yes. First, I did the certification, and then I worked during 2 years between Nice and Paris, and then we opened the studio here. But before we opened the studio, I really wanted to have my own experience as a teacher, to be a better teacher.
And that was, if I can add something, that was the plan. So, I mean, when Alexia starting to work in Paris, it was because we had in mind to open a studio. But what we wanted is that when we open a studio, that at least Alexia had a strong experience on teaching Lagree. So that's why every Sunday morning she was wake up at 5, going to Paris, working, Sunday, Monday, coming back, and then on Tuesday still working, because that's what the plan, to make experience. And to be sure that when we will open the studio in Nice, that we deliver a premium experience. So that's why she started to do that.
Sounds like my life, actually.
Actually, it wasn't an issue because I already traveled a lot for my previous work, so it's for me it wasn't something very difficult at first.
Yeah.
Then I was very tired at the end, but it's okay. I loved every classes I teach there, so
Yeah.
it was
Two years
really-
is a long time to go back and forth though between the two cities. That's a long time to go back and
You
forth.
love easy jets.
Yeah.
I'm very well acquainted with EasyJet. Yes, we are very good.
I think I
very
knew
good
all the personnel in
Right.
and Audi and Nice.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, and then Seb, you got certified as well, right?
Yes, with Maggie. It was still in Paris, but it was before opening the studio. So we opened the studio in March, and I remember my certification was in December.
In December, yeah.
The wonderful Maggie O'Brien, one of my great colleagues. Yeah, she's great. So the idea was then you would both get certified, you would both practice as teachers as much as possible, and then open a studio here in Nice. And the plan, you said, was always to open a studio in Nice.
Yes.
Yes, because unfortunately there isn't any Lagree, and for me it was like I was meant to teach that. It was very something important to me, so I really want to have this place here.
And why
I cannot
Nice?
imagine my teacher life without teaching Lagree.
Yeah. And why did you choose Nice in the end?
We love the weather. Actually, we were a little bit fed up about Paris.
I get that too. Yeah.
Yeah, about the weather, the lifestyle was exhausting, and we were looking for something else, and we were looking for a better weather. We wanted to be close to the sea, and I knew Nice because I used to travel a lot here for my previous work. And Sébastien loved it too, so we have the opportunity.
Yeah, and we wanted to be close to an international airport because it was really important for us. We love traveling. So in our way of life during the year, we love to go in US or other. So that was also one of the key points. And Nice, the airport, it's really, really big, and that's also quite important for us. So
Yeah. I totally understand that.
All the box.
Yeah, I get that. That's why I moved too. I fell in love with it when I came here, and yeah, very happy to be here for all those same reasons, actually. And so, were you more excited or scared to be opening a brand new studio in a city where there was no Lagree yet?
I think a little bit of both, yes. But no, we were really excited to have our own space because for us it's the first time we open something. It's ours, so I think we are both excited.
It was both. You are excited because you own your own business. That's something, when you order the first time the door, you say, "Oh my God, I did that." So I mean, I managed to open a studio. But in the same times, that's something scary because you put some money on the business. And at first in Nice, we opened 2 years ago, the trend was less. And I mean, Lagree, we had to explain to people what is Lagree. And we did some class with only one person, and it takes time, to tell them, to educate them. And I think since perhaps last year, yes, we saw like the Reformer Pilates, a really big increase of studio opening, of interest of people. More and more people know now what is Lagree. But at first, 2 years ago here, it was, we had to educate them. So at first you say, okay, we sure that it will work because we are really full over the Lagree method. But in the same time, you say, oh, I hope that in Nice, they will also love the method and so on. So yes, for me, it was both.
Yeah, so for me, first, I was really excited, and then I was really scared, but it wasn't, there is different steps, so.
Yeah. What? How's it going? How's the business going in Nice, in the south of France?
It's different. For me, it's very different that we can find in Paris because there is not the same education. I mean, people are not used to work out as much as we can see in Paris or maybe in Bordeaux, more seated in city. But it's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
people are catching on. I mean, every time I've come by, your classes seem full. It seems like you're building an amazing community from what I see
that's what I
on
will say,
Instagram.
because Alex, we've told that for sure. But what is really good is that, at this evening we do 2 classes at 6, 7. It was full, and most of the time the classes are full. So we are really pleased. And for me, from my side, what I love is that we create a community. And we create really connection with people, and we have engaged people. What said Alexia is that compared to Paris, is that sometimes, the weather is fine and so on. So there is more opportunity for people. So sometimes on a Friday evening, they prefer to go on party and so on. So that's not the same. They don't see sport, I think, the same way as in Paris. But yes, we are really pleased of how the business is dealing from Lagree and also from Hyrox. So definitely for us, it's on a good trend. So we are really pleased.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's very similar to what the studio owners in Norway, Oslo, told me, that Norwegians are much more inclined when it gets cold to go outside and do things in the snow, skiing or snowshoeing or hiking, rather than do something inside. So it's kind of the same situation, but on opposite ends of the weather spectrum. And I do feel that in Nice, when it's beautiful outside, you want to be out on the Promenade des Anglais, or you want to be hiking or on the beach doing things. So, but I will say that when I came, I did some guest teaching at your studio. And the clients, number one, were very strong and clearly well-trained, and they loved being challenged as well. So I feel like either you have just educated them, or the people in your community have learned to kind of crave and really appreciate a challenge as well.
Yes, I think most of our clients are very strong because they love the challenge, and that's why they are still here after 2 years for some of them, and they wanted to improve their body, but also I think to train also their mind, and they want to work out, and they want to be a little pushed, but in the right way. So no, I'm really pleased about our community. And a lot of them asking for you, Michael, sometimes.
I
They remember
will
you.
be there.
So
I will be there.
You can
I'll come back.
whenever you want.
I would love to. Oh, thank you. That's so nice. I would love to.
Well, I think it's always the way we are teaching also. When you mean that our customers are quite strong, it's in the same times we take time with them, to give them some tips around alignment, around tempo, and so on. And even if after the class, sometimes they ask us, on that one, I've got some issue, I've got some difficulties. So we take time. We don't just deliver the class and say, okay, bye-bye, see you next week. And that's why I think also, and that's why we love to see that when our customer, our members improve week after week, go slower, go, deeper, and so on. And that's what we love. But in the same time, we take time with them to educate them. So I think it's coming from how we teach also, and the time we spend with them.
I love that. I think that's one of the things that separates Lagree, or maybe that's not separates Lagree, but it's very special to the Lagree community, that the studios, because it's a boutique and licensee system instead of a franchise, that the studios tend to build a really strong sense of community, and people feel very connected to the coaches, to the studio owners, to each other. It's something that I see all over the world, and I think it's pretty special in the Lagree world.
Yes. So I think it's what it makes all the difference. I mean, you choose to work out in a place because not only because of the workout, but also because of the people, because of the connection and what you feel when you go in those places. So that's really what we want to do here.
Absolutely. I feel that. And I want to just transition to the amazing thing that you've created here, which is a studio that is on one side Lagree and on one side Hyrox. I didn't really know Hyrox. I didn't understand what it was. Even when I saw it in your studio, I wasn't sure what it was. And then I was in London for a training a few months ago, and my friend Youssef, who's also a Lagree instructor in Paris, he invited me to come see him compete in the Hyrox competition. And I was kind of I was amazed. I was blown away by the strength, the endurance, the intensity of it. And so I'm very interested in how you, because a lot of studios that I've been around have different things that they offer. So some of them offer hot Pilates and Lagree, or some of them offer yoga and Lagree. And some people have actual Pilates studios and Lagree studios combined, or just like weightlifting and then Lagree. But you have Hyrox and Lagree. And as far as I know, it's the only one that exists. And are there others studios that have combined Hyrox and Lagree training?
I don't think so. In France, I don't think so, but
well, we've talked about this. I think it's such an interesting thing because they are so different. Hyrox is all about speed and getting as much an intensity done as possible. Maybe if you could just explain as briefly as possible the principles of Hyrox, what you have to be able to do to compete and to excel in Hyrox as a competition sport, and how you see that as interacting and being complementary to Lagree practice and work.
So Hyrox is not only about speed and explosivity, actually, because it's a lot of small exercise, but combined together, it's a long race. I mean, for example, for a woman, the average time for first Hyrox is 1 hour and 30 minutes. So it's long.
It's long.
It's not only a strength and a speed race. It's also an endurance race. And I
would imagine mental endurance as well. I mean,
yes,
just to be able to get through. Yeah.
This is one of the most important parts, especially at the end when your body is collapsing, your mind can collapse too. So, but no, Hyrox is combining a lot of body. Different body type, different physical abilities. So you have to run, you have to push weight, you have to carry weight, you have to do a lot of lunges, 100 meters, and more explosive things like burpees. But all of those things together, it's combining and it's giving some endurance race. So for me, it's not that different than Lagree, because Lagree is based on muscular strength and endurance, and those qualities are very required for Hyrox.
Okay, so it's not as much a complementary different exercise as it is something that is very similar. And so the training that you do for Lagree can actually help you to be able to make it through, for example, all those lunges. I would imagine.
Definitely.
Because you do lunges, you do it with this weighted sack on your shoulders too, right?
But it's not so easy. It's 20 kilos or 30 kilos. So in fact, if I put a bag on 20 kilos and I ask you to do some lunges, it's not so easy. But the fact is that it's 100 meters, it started to be long. And that's why it's not about, for me, being really strong, but it's more about endurance. And that's why, for me, Lagree, it's definitely what I do every week. in my training, because I know that it will help me to be better and faster during the lunges, during the sled, and so on. So for me, there is a really strong connection on both of them.
Oh, that's beautiful. So what's your split for the week? How many times a week do you do Lagree? How often do you practice the different components of Hyrox, or how do you break it up during the week, for example? What would that look like?
For me, on Monday, every Monday, I do Lagree. Then I do a 2 session of strength, upper, lower, 2 Hyrox session. So it's a combination of all we saw about the wall ball, sled push, and so on. And I try to run 3 times per week. So in total, I would love to add another Lagree during the week, but at the end, it starts to become a little complex with the studio and so on. So I do 1 per week.
Okay. And the effects are visible. You won last time, right? Or you got, it was a minute, if I recall.
My edge, I'm most of the time in first place.
Wow.
So, and again, that's what I say to other people that I know, and I tell them, come to do Lagree, because at first a lot thought that the most important was to work on heavy, when you do squat and so on. But more and more they see that it's more about endurance and your capacity or your ability when it's starting to burn to keep and every more to start running more faster and so on. And that's why Lagree for me, I just repeat what I just say, but it's a game changer for me and for my training.
Wow, that's so intense. So do you, I know you have a team or a group of people that you train for Hyrox on one side of your studio, right?
Yes.
And then do you encourage them, or do you make it part of their training for Hyrox to do Lagree on the other side as well?
Yeah, they do both. Most of the time, they practice both.
Yeah.
So what is funny, some start in Lagree, they saw Hyrox, and they say, oh, I will try Hyrox too. And other, they start Hyrox, they saw Lagree, they say, oh, perhaps I will try. And so now they do both. and one day, Alexia, because she's the technical, she put a micro on the Hyrox training. So, she mixed both of them, so it was quite funny. They do lunges and then they were on the micro, so it was funny.
Sometimes I use the micro in the other room, and they work lunges on the micro, and then sandbag lunges, walking lunges, and sometimes they run just after that to feel their legs, to feel the burn.
Well, that was my question. Because I've never done Hyrox. I don't know if I ever will. I was a little scared when I saw it on. I love doing, but maybe the fact that I've done Lagree for so many years, I would be able to do Hyrox. I don't know, but we'll see. But I'm wondering, what is the sensation? How does the sensation, for example, of the lunge portion of Hyrox compare to the feeling of a lower body set in Lagree? Is it similar? Is the burn different, or how does it compare?
Honestly, for me, it's easier to do 100 meters with a bag of 10 kilos on my back and do the walking lunges than compared to 3 minutes of escalator lunge.
Wow.
It's easier. I mean,
wow.
The is it's more manageable on the Hyrox part than on the Lagree part. So for that, I'm sure Lagree is helping me on those lunges.
How fascinating. So I guess it's because when you do the lunges in Hyrox, you're actually taking tiny breaks. So you let a little bit of oxygen back into the muscles, where in Lagree, you're just holding the muscles under tension without a break. And so that's what makes it more intense. That makes it harder.
And even if it's long doing those 100 meters, the burn is not the same for me. For a lot of people, it's burning their legs, but mine is
you don't feel it.
So it's just you're gonna go faster and so on. But no, I think Lagree is really a game changer for that. Also, shoulder for the wall ball, with all the things in Lagree,
I think it's really helping us to manage and to carry the weight of the ball and to keep the posture, so to keep the form.
We do so much work on the shoulders in Lagree. Every plank we're in, mega donkey, the reverse donkey kick, the scrambled eggs. I mean, we're on our shoulders probably at least a third of the time. So it gets intense.
That's what we love also. It's almost every movement is full body movement. So
yeah. So I have a question for you. So one time I was on a call with Sébastien Barreaud and all of the master trainers, and he mentioned the idea of creating an event called the Lagree Games, something similar to like Lagree as a competitive sport. And I'm wondering if you have thought about that and how, like, what that would, how that could work if there would be different events like lower body events or upper body events or planking events, or like if something like that could work. And I think maybe you guys should be the ones to do it.
Yeah, sure, definitely. I think it's a really good idea. But no, Lagree Games is very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a surprise coming from Sébastien, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that there would be like 7 levels of skill in Lagree, like from just beginner up to super advanced, and there could be like different competitive. What do you call the brackets? The competitive brackets, and people move through up into different. People keep winning, and then moving to higher and higher levels, and then I don't know. It's just an idea, something to throw out there. Maybe people listening to the podcast will have ideas on how to do something like that. But I think it could be a really exciting thing. And I do think of Lagree as an athletic event, as something that requires a high level of athleticism and physical fitness. Not just for aesthetics, for looking good, but for the cardiovascular effect and the overall muscular endurance aspect of it, and how it just sort of makes you feel good in your body and your skin, in a fundamental fitness way, about health and fitness and wellness, and not just about looking good. Yes. And I know you both have. You've spent so much of your lives developing incredible skill as athletes yourself, and I'm wondering what you've thought about how Lagree contributes to that overall sense of wellness and physical fitness in your lives and in your work.
For me, Lagree is not, as you said, only for the aesthetic aspect, but also I see Lagree like a tools to improve my strength, to improve also my mental endurance, my focus, and it's gave me a lot of benefit in my running session, in my Hyrox session, like I said, and for me it's something almost magical for the body, because when you have a little pain, it can took the pain off, because you are working so slow, in so different angle, in the different plane. And I think it's a very amazing tool, not only an aesthetic method.
At first, for me, I really have the feeling that before Lagree, I've never worked my abs. So I mean that, you do the plank, you stay 2, 3, 4 minutes, but finally you don't engage so much the abs and so on. And for me, that was the first impact as I would say as an athlete, the core. The core rocking, the core, and I was really impressed of that. Then for the injury, for me, it's really, really important. And what I love also, I'm not doing Lagree for the aesthetic part. And most of the time when I talk with people, even if we say that you've got really, I will say, a good impact on your body, I prefer really to talk about how you feel stronger, engage. And what I love also, it's like for me, like a meditation. So, I mean, when I do the Lagree class, I don't think on my job, on other things. I only think about what I'm doing right now. And that's what I love. It's bring me also, I become less stressed and so on. So for all that part, it's bring me a lot of energy and positivity when I practice Lagree.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it really is a moving meditation. I feel that the same way.
That's always what I said. And people, most of the time, they realize it just after, because at first they are afraid. They say, I will be really bad and all the people are looking me. And I told them, don't worry, nobody will look you.
at you.
You are so focused on, we don't care about the people on your left, on your right. And that's what I love when I do. And when I practice with my customer, most of the time, sometimes they say, oh, you're just close to me, so you will look at me. And I say, don't worry, I will suffer, so I don't look at you. And that's
Just trying to survive.
So and that's what I love also.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm totally in my own world. It's like no one else even exists except me and the coach. Yeah.
And even sometimes you're so focused on your move, on your body, you don't even see the teacher in the room. I mean, you can hear it or hear the teacher, but you cannot see where he is. So
yeah.
No,
the last thing I wanted to ask you about is just your experience as business owners. If you would encourage people to do something, a hybrid model, if you would do the same thing again, if you had it to do over again, would you do both the Lagree and the Hyrox? Is it a business model that you would recommend to other studio owners? What are the main things that you've learned in opening a new studio, and maybe what would you some advice that you would give to other people hoping to open studios in the future?
I think first, opening a studio there is something difficult, honestly. So you need to choose things what you love, because if you do something only because if it's a trend, I think it's not gonna work for the long term. You need to choose discipline that you really love and that you really believe in. I mean, we chose Hyrox because it was our style, because we truly believed in France. It was something who can work, and here too. I mean, if we loved it, a lot of people can love it. So that's why we choose those two parts, Lagree and Hyrox. And then by practicing more and more, we find those similarity between both of the discipline. But my first advice, if you want to open a studio, choose something what you love. Not because it's trendy, but because you believed in it. Because you will be better to teach something you believed in than something you just doing for the trend.
That's very good advice, because they're going to be really tough days, tough weeks, tough moments, and if you don't love it, it would be hard to keep pushing through, I assume.
Yeah. Yes, but and you will have also great days, and you have but it's not an easy way. It's not an easy road. So for me, if you do the things with passion, it's the first. I mean, it's your first strength to open a business, and that there is so many things day after day, and so many things we love to do now, and we didn't think of those things at first, and it's a nice journey actually.
Yeah.
We learn every day more and more to be a good owner, but also we learn about us, and I know, I think it's a good thing, but you need to be prepared.
Yeah. Well, I love that you chose Hyrox and Lagree because they were two things that you were very passionate about and experienced in. And it wasn't just Hyrox is this up and coming, super exciting fad. Lagree is this new, exciting, stylish workout that everyone is talking about. It's because you were very passionate about both of them and wanted to bring both of them into a studio and combine them. And that's why you chose to do what you do. I think that's really inspiring, actually, to a lot of people.
No, that's the same for me. You do by passion and authenticity. That's for me the most important, because if you do it by passion and if you do it with authenticity, your members, your customer, they will see it and you will share more with them. I love to take an example, taking that as example, the Kangoo jump, the shoe that so that there is perhaps right now trendy, booming, but I will never do that in my studio because it's not us, it's not what we do, it's not what we practice, it's not what we love. And at first, when we opened the studio, of course there is a business, a part of the business. But at first it was because we were really a true believer of the method, and we loved so much Lagree, so we wanted to open a studio because we wanted to be sure that people in Nice will discover the method. And we didn't thought at first, okay, it's a cash machine or it will make a big business. It was not our idea at first. And for me, that's the most important. You have to do it because you love it and not because you think it will make a lot of money.
Well, I admire you both so much for what you've built here in my city, in my hometown, and I just feel like what you're doing is a great example to other studio owners around the world, and as a couple too, which can be kind of a scary thing.
Yes, it's not easy every day, but
it's not easy, but it's also that's the other thing that sometimes I tell to people: if you open a studio, become a teacher at first, because we opened both, so it was quite good. We were together to teach. And I always say, for me, in my part, I will not open a studio if I'm not teaching, because I think I will not understand all the things and have not a strong relationship with my customers. So for me, it was quite important that both of them were teachers. That's the way of business.
I love that. I think that makes a huge difference to have studio owners who understand and who run the business from a place of deep understanding of the method and teaching and a passion for teaching and connecting to people. I think it makes a huge difference, and I feel it.
No, sure. It's and also for the practical part, because if you have your own studio and if you're not a teacher, when you have one or two teachers sick or they cannot reach your studio or they cannot be there and you have to replace them if you cannot teach, I think it can be an issue. So even if you are not an everyday teacher in your studio, I think it's better to have your certification.
Yeah. I think your puppy is missing you. I've met your puppy before. Yeah.
Sorry.
He's so sad. Oh.
Not the mascot.
Yeah, he's a very important part of my time coaching as well. Yeah.
People love him.
When he's not at the studio, everybody is telling us much here today.
Well, thank you both so much. Like I say, I admire so much what you've built here in Nice, and I wish you all the best success. And I would love to come back and do some more guest teaching when I can.
Yes,
I'll be there I'll be there in May for a certification, actually, for anyone who's interested. And if you're ever in Nice, make sure to check out the studio and both sides of it, the Hyrox and the Lagree part. They have the mini pros. They have amazing teachers. So next time you're in Nice for your vacation, please stop by and see Seb and Alexia. And thank you both again so much for joining the podcast today.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having us.
Au revoir et merci beaucoup. Au revoir. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Do You Lagree? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If so, please like, subscribe, and share. If you'd like to take your Lagree practice or teaching further, check out my book, 400 Lagree Routines, at chipmanlagree.com and on Amazon Kindle.
There you'll find hundreds of classic full body, upper body, and lower body sequences to keep your workouts challenging and inspiring for many weeks to come. And please do connect with me on social media and my website for more conversations, tips, and upcoming episodes. And if you're enjoying the podcast, leaving a review is a great way to help others discover it. Until next time, be well, be strong, and keep shaking.